Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for joining me today for another deep dive into the Dallas Cowboys. Because right now, the rumor mill in Dallas is heating up in a major way. The Cowboys are coming off of a stretch where fans have been left asking serious questions about the secondary and whether or not reinforcements are on the horizon. That's why the latest chatter surrounding DaRon Bland, Shavon Revel Jr., and even the possibility of Stephon Gilmore making a surprising return has caught fire in the NFL community. If you're a Cowboys fan, you know how much the defense has meant to this team over the past few seasons, and you also know how fragile it has been at times when injuries or inconsistencies hit. So today we're going to break down every angle of these rumors, what it could mean for the Cowboys, and why the front office is in a position where it may have to act quickly if they want to stabilize things before the season slips away. The first name to talk about is DaRon Bland, a player who stepped up in a huge way for the Cowboys last season and became a breakout star in the secondary. Bland proved that he's more than capable of handling top assignments, showing the kind of ball-hawking ability that made him a fan favorite almost overnight. His knack for turning defense into offense with interceptions returned for touchdowns made him not just a reliable corner, but a genuine game changer. However, in the NFL, teams adapt quickly. Opposing offenses have had all offseason to study Bland's tendencies, and there are questions about whether he can continue to deliver at that same elite level now that he's under the microscope. The Cowboys are hoping Bland can anchor the secondary, but there's a lingering feeling that he needs help on the other side, and that's where the rumors about outside reinforcements come into play. One of the names generating buzz is Shavon Revel Jr., a young defensive back who has been impressing scouts and insiders with his raw athleticism and potential. While Revel Jr. is not a household name yet, he represents the kind of high-upside addition the Cowboys could use if they're looking to strengthen depth and build toward the future at the same time. The Cowboys know that the grind of a long NFL season means you can't just rely on your top two corners. Depth is crucial. Revel Jr. brings size, speed, and a fearless mentality that some believe could translate into a rotational role right away. The question, however, is whether the Cowboys would be willing to roll the dice on a young player in a season where expectations are sky high. Dallas is not in a rebuilding mode, they're in win-now mode. That makes this rumor interesting because it puts pressure on the front office to decide whether taking a chance on youth is the right move when veterans could be available. That brings us to perhaps the most intriguing and exciting rumor of all, Stephon Gilmore. Cowboys fans already know what Gilmore brings to the table because he played in Dallas and delivered stability, leadership, and a veteran-savvy presence in the secondary. Gilmore may no longer be at the absolute peak of his career when he won Defensive Player of the Year, but he remains one of the smartest and most reliable corners in the league when healthy. His understanding of offensive schemes, his ability to position himself perfectly, and his experience in high-pressure moments are exactly what the Cowboys could use right now. That's why the idea of him making a return is causing such a stir. While it's not confirmed, there are whispers that the Cowboys are exploring whether Gilmore could be a short-term solution to shore up the secondary while younger players continue to develop. The timing of these rumors is also significant. The Cowboys are entering a stretch of their schedule where the passing attacks they'll face are no joke. You're talking about matchups against some of the best quarterbacks and wide receivers in the game, and this is where a shaky secondary can get exposed very quickly. The Cowboys' pass rush, led by Micah Parsons, has been elite, but as fans know, even the best pass rush can't cover up coverage issues if the corners and safeties aren't locking down their assignments. Teams with quick passing attacks and versatile receivers will test Dallas in ways that demand not just talent, but depth and experience in the secondary. That's why the possibility of adding someone like Gilmore, or even taking a flyer on a young talent like Revel Jr., feels less like a rumor and more like a necessity. Of course, none of this can be separated from the larger conversation about the Cowboys' philosophy under owner Jerry Jones and the front office. For years, fans have been critical of the Cowboys for being too conservative when it comes to making aggressive moves to get over the hump. They've been a team that consistently wins in the regular season but struggles to translate that into deep playoff runs. The defense has been a bright spot, but depth has always been a concern. So the question now becomes, will Jerry Jones and the Cowboys finally make the kind of mid-season adjustment that signals they're serious about winning it all? Bringing back Gilmore would be a statement. Taking a chance on Revel Jr. would be a gamble. Counting solely on DaRon Bland to shoulder the load could be risky. The Cowboys' decision here could end up shaping their entire season. Fans have been vocal on social media, with many calling for the Cowboys to bring Gilmore back immediately. Some argue that his leadership alone is worth it, especially for young players like Bland who could benefit from having a veteran mentor in the locker room. Others point out that relying on past stars isn't always the answer, and that the NFL is a league that rewards teams willing to inject youth and speed into their lineup. This divide among fans mirrors the very debate happening in the Cowboys front office right now whether to lean on proven veterans or to build depth with younger, untested talent. What makes it even more compelling is that the clock is ticking, and decisions need to be made soon. Another layer to this story is how the Cowboys' defensive coordinator and coaching staff view the situation. Coaches often prefer veterans because they know what they're getting and don't have to worry about rookie mistakes costing them games. At the same time, every coach loves the idea of developing a young talent into a star, especially if that player can make plays right away. Shavon Revel Jr. is the kind of player that excites coaches because of his physical gifts, but he also raises questions about whether he's ready for the NFL spotlight in Dallas, a market that magnifies every mistake. If the Cowboys do go the route of youth, they'll need to manage expectations carefully and ensure they're putting players in positions to succeed. From a financial perspective, bringing back Gilmore could make sense if the numbers line up. He wouldn't command the same kind of contract as in his prime years, and Dallas has some flexibility to add veteran help without jeopardizing their long-term cap situation. For a team trying to maximize the current window with Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb in their primes, making a calculated veteran addition is the kind of move that separates contenders from pretenders. The Cowboys know this, and that's why the Gilmore rumor has more weight than some fans may realize. On the field, the impact of these moves would be immediate. Pairing Bland with Gilmore again would give the Cowboys a cornerback duo capable of handling top-tier receiving core, while allowing younger players to develop in rotational roles rather than being thrown into the fire. Adding someone like Revel Jr. could provide fresh energy and depth, but would likely be more of a long-term play. Either way, these decisions will define the Cowboys' defensive identity moving forward. At the end of the day, the Cowboys are at a crossroads. They can double down on their current roster and hope that Bland continues to rise to the challenge. They can roll the dice on a young player like Revel Jr. and hope lightning strikes. Or they can make a move for a proven veteran like Gilmore and send a message to the league that they're all in this season. Whatever path they choose, fans will be watching closely, because in Dallas, every decision is magnified, every rumor sparks debate, and every move or lack thereof has the potential to define the season. So Cowboys Nation, buckle up, because the next few weeks could determine whether this team is ready to finally take that next step toward a Super Bowl run, or whether they'll once again be left asking what could have been. And as always, we'll be right here bringing you every update, every rumor, and every twist in the story. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Cowboys secondary rumors, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay locked in because this season is just getting started, and the drama in Dallas is only going to heat up from here.